SportsCenter right now. I'm Antonieta Collins. Free agency officially opens today at 4 p.m. Eastern. Many teams already making moves. Former 49ers running back Carlos Hyde is expected to sign with the Browns. The NFL Network reporting that Hyde will receive a 3-year deal worth more than $15 million. The 27-year-old had 938 rushing yards and 8 rushing touchdowns last season. Meanwhile, our insider Chris Mortensen reporting that former Vikings quarterback Teddy Bridgewater will sign a 1-year deal with the Jets. Bridgewater hasn't played in a game since suffering a horrible knee injury nearly 2 years ago. Bridgewater will have to fight for playing time in New York because the Jets had also re-signed Josh McCown to a 1-year deal just hours before news broke of the Bridgewater deal. McCown has been told he will go into training camp as the starter. For more on the NFL, here's First Take.
So the Jets making a big splash in free agency, including the signing of former Vikings quarterback Teddy Bridgewater. Stephen A., is it a miss that the Jets didn't get Kirk Cousins?
Yes, it is. Listen, I know that they've got this kid Spencer Long coming in at center. They're probably going to sign Teddy Bridgewater to a 1-year deal. But understand that you're in the New York market. You've been relatively a moribund franchise. You haven't had any success worth speaking of. I'm a fan of Todd Bowles. I like Mike Maccagnan. Mike Maccagnan, however, hadn't spent a lot of money on the offensive side of the ball. I think they only had like $2.6 million committed to the quarterback position, for crying out loud. And the same could be said in similar fashion about what they've done defensively. I know they have their options. I know that they got the 6th overall pick, and they can end up getting one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL draft. I get all of that. But Kirk Cousins, if you had acquired him, even though I'm not enamored with the money that he would have required, you want something that says it's a destination worth considering. And there's nothing that the Jets have done that says their franchise is a destination spot worth grabbing at. And that is what I believe they're in the hole to try to capture. They want to become a destination spot, and I don't see anything that they've done that speaks to that, and that's my concern.
Well, I think in the NFL, much more important than becoming a destination for free agents is building through the draft. This is not the NBA where, if we can only just get this guy in free agency, it'll make all the difference, usually. Unless you're about to win a Super Bowl and a key veteran or two would do it for you, or there's a veteran who can change the locker room culture or something like that. They're not about to win the Super Bowl. But they do have a coach who gets them to play hard, and they have a defense. So I love these moves the Jets have made. I don't think they missed on Kirk Cousins. As I said, hard cap league. Don't wish a guy into existence and squint hard enough to think maybe you see him and then overpay for him. That's why John Elway, who's the guy who said, why can't there be a middle-class quarterback? Why does it have to be either franchise money or the guy's a bum? Can I pay a guy like Osweiler middle-class money? No? Okay, see you later, Osweiler. And that worked out great for the Broncos. It means you may not get your quarterback, but you also won't be stuck with a mediocre one you're paying like a star. Kirk Cousins is better than mediocre. I do not think he's great. He's getting I'm great kind of money. The Jets didn't give it to him. Instead, in Teddy Bridgewater, they have a promising young quarterback who was already pretty good. He was solid, not asked to do too much, but solid, and his trajectory was taking him upward. Maybe he could be a really good one. Gets hurt, you're buying low, seeing for 1 year. In the meantime, McCown is a very competent backup, and if things work out, they will have found a young starter who may be a star on the rise. Meantime, they have a competent quarterback in McCown who's not a bum, and they're paying pennies on the dollar instead of overpaying a guy like Cousins. They still have a high draft pick. They could draft the quarterback of the future where nothing they have now really blocks that quarterback. I like the Isaiah Crowell signing. He can run the ball. He has a good yards per carry average this last season. He can catch passes out of the backfield. He's only 25 years old. Like the other signings, not a big, sexy, splashy signing, but a good, competent one that tells me that the organization is being run competently, which is not something I normally think about the Jets.
Well, listen, you could say all of that, but here's the reality of the situation. Whether you grabbed Kirk Cousins or not, it wasn't going to compromise you in the draft. Now, if you were picking him up in free agency and it required a trade, you'd have a valid point, and I wouldn't refute anything. But nothing that involved Kirk Cousins was going to compromise you in the draft. The draft picks were still there to be had. And I happen to believe that the quarterback position is the most important position, and you need to stabilize that, which is something this particular franchise, Max, has had a real problem doing. A lot of other franchises, you might have problems elsewhere, but you got a quarterback. In this particular particular situation. Religiously, throughout the years, the Jets have been unable to stabilize the quarterback position to say for the next 5 years plus or whatever the case may be, this is going to be our quarterback. And
But
to
if they
me, I
got
think they need to
Cousins-
do that.
But if they got Cousins, Jets are an inferior team. You'd think the offer would have to be even better than the Minnesota offer was. If they get Cousins, it does block them from drafting a top-flight quarterback. So do you believe that Cousins can be the star quarterback that the Jets haven't had since basically Joe Namath? I do not. I don't think he's that caliber guy, so I wouldn't commit 3 years or 3 years plus to him.
Got to leave it there. Since he entered the league in 2014, Teddy Bridgewater started in 28 of a possible 64 games last season. Josh McCown had the exact same QBR as Kirk Cousins. To the association, two of the best point guards in the NBA are dealing with injury. So how will the seasoned Warriors do without Kyrie and Steph tonight? Don't miss Thursday's First Take for a full reaction. And the big man is back. Let you tell it, Max. He's about to tell you why things are about to get a little bigger in the NBA's future. Final Take coming up next. Tournament Challenge Marathon continues. Go on ESPN.com, fill out that bracket. We are over 10 million and counting.